controlling transmission.
Today's topic is your future, our future. See, if it gets too cold, I'm gonna put on my hoodie. So it's very cold right now. It's like 35. Last night it was like almost 29. So I'm not trying to freeze here. Greetings to my star seeds. And what I want to share right now is the good things that we are observing and that are taking place as foretold. It has nothing to do with a prophecy. It is just calculating probable effects of things that will affect the future of the human race. We are slow, but we're coming together. So we have seen that maybe what you have elected is not changing the laws according to the speed that you want to. But here's what we do. What I have seen in Sedona is that many stores put up signs as in no guns beyond this point, punishable by law. So I suggest that all these public spaces where people go shopping for life entertainment and life sustenance, we're not hunting, why should weaponry be allowed? You know? I'm European, so we always looked from the other side at this here as in the wild, wild west. Not to attack people, but if it's affecting your business and customers won't come, customers won't be on airplanes because they fear that their neighbor could, because they want to carry a gun. We have observed now, and I want to use this example to show you there is change, even if you think the laws are not being changed, is that big corporations now, and especially airlines, retreat from funding and giving discounts to people that carry such armory. For no apparent reason in public where this is really not required. If it comes to your grounds and to your property, I suggest, tranquilizers or tasers, but not further than that. And also, creating a society where actually that defense is not needed. Creating a consciousness, why would I weaponize myself? And I remember back then, what was it called? The weaponizing as a defense against outer space, which is kind of a little bit ridiculous, as our other dimensional friends are way past that and can shut anything that's weaponized down. Also, we're not having any allowance to land on the moon because of that. Do we just want to go and nuke the moon? When a species is either half possessed or half obsessed, it's a little bit out of control. The councils and founder races that watch this, you can say, emotional rehab, craft world nexus planet called Earth, Terra Nova or Tiamat, with caution. You come here, you get shot at, you get dissected. For business gains, your technology is being abused away from its original foundation. So yeah, I understand why Earth is under quarantine. I also, through observation, understand why people observe this and say this is all nonsense. You're here, you're primitive, you're primate. When you die, that's it. And fear, fear never solves anything. Fear never brings forth evolution. It brings forth a devolution, aka devolution, as in the negative aspect of where you could be in this entire situation. But we see now big corporations moving away from the gun aspect with fundings, discounts, specials and extras. Stores in spiritual towns especially and campgrounds prohibit these things. For hunters, there are designated areas for hunting grounds. So there's a response taking place for what shall no longer be supported. And it won't, and it naturally has to actually fall apart because there's no future in that. It wasn't in the wild, wild west, So Germany, where I was born, this is guns are outlawed. You go to jail. If you're a regular civil person, you're not carrying that, hence we have less shootouts. period. People don't believe that. Propagate peace. We legalize weed all over the planet, and you'll see, as in also meditation, the crime rate of the primate will be lowered. It has been shown in experiments that this can take place. And see here where you find spiritual places such as Sedona, where this can really take place, but there's nothing for you to rob, steal, cheat, or whatever, even though people still, want to follow the endeavor of what they're creating, which brings me to the topic that we're making a positive change, despite the fact that our resisting cells will be regressed by Mother Nature, whether it's in 100 years or 200 years, that by algorithm and computer, sequential mathematical dynamics, it has been calculated that we will become a species that eventually will make contact. When and how that takes place is up to us. I'm suggesting that's for Erich von Däniken, the Raelian movement, Ramtha and Bashar. You're all receiving the same downloads. We need airports where beings can land, first in etherical form, to prepare for contact, and then in physical form so they can visit and leave. And we're preparing ourselves to go interstellar. I believe there is no future in putting yourself in a tin can in a body that's not made to leave Earth. This body is designed to stay with that template. If you don't learn about the mastery of photons, magnetics, and electrics, you're never going to travel anywhere with great deficit. We know that when astronauts go to outer space, what happens? They liquefy. The entire atomic structure is going off balance. That's why the astronauts have Tesla plates in their suits, and the Schumann resonance, that the body is reminded, hey, you're still close to Earth, don't fall apart yet. Because basically, when you leave this plane, you de-spirit. You're designed that way. The higher you go, the more you go to source, the more you will lose your body, because you're going closer to source, physics. The deeper you dive, the closer you're coming to the inner source. You'll die. Like divers too deep, not having the right oxygen, beginning to see mermaids and other templates. Well, because you're leaving the plane of, we're in this plane here. I think we have dormant DNAs that are designed to go there when the time is ripe, but we need to train that as in an interdimensional decompression chamber. So the good things that we see in our future, in our life, is humans, all of us here on this template, have to figure out, what's my purpose? Why am I here? What am I here to create? How do I enhance this situation here with what I do where I'm at to further the existence and expansion and exploration of consciousness through a sleeve, through a vessel we call the human body? The AI we're trying to build is a little bit funny to me, because high-end technology is this: bio-cybernetic organism filled with consciousness. Your arteries are the wiring. The organs are the parts of that classic God machine, which is the body, which is you, which is actually very fantastic if you break it down. If you look at microbiology, how viruses and cell structures are coordinated and work, that's why you're in a fully functional body. An enzyme that's designed for a certain function will do what an enzyme does. That's why this works. A human cell that is designed for muscle tissue will produce muscle tissue. And it does its best at producing muscle tissue. The shaman in a tribal village that makes little wooden toys for the kids so they're in a happy mind state does just that. The plumber that comes to your house, fixes the plumbing, does just that. The dentist, the lawyer, the doctor, the professor, the physicist, the metaphysicist, everybody does what they are supposed to do. Now we have to break down to what are you here naturally to do? What is your purpose? Why are you here to actually create what enhances that would be here? So what you'll see in the future is franchise will shut down if it's becoming non-essential. Money is going cyberspace. Non-essential currencies won't have anything that gives them value. So also look at cryptocurrency as an actual fact right now. If you can't buy any resources with that, that is reality you must face. And if you invested in a dong or Bitcoin or whatever that is, and you can't move product with this or build enterprises with this, then this is a reality that you must look at. And if in 5 years you're in the same place with your investment, you must look at reality. I'm about creating a reality that can be brought forth by the individual purposefully and by divine right. Be your own critic. There is no expert out there that's actually required to say anything or having to belittle or discriminate or whatnot when good work is being done. We just had a great movie release where everybody knows the entire world is in a frenzy. Everybody wants to be that, with fantastic revelations and ancient technology and us making contact with a lost civilization that kept their peace, that were never colonized. That's why they're high tech. So imagine if all of those things that we had in Germany, immigrants not moving, Atlantis never sunk, colonization from Mars to here never had taken place, how far we would have been. Right now you would see hover cars behind me, planets, suns and moons, things would be interstellar. We already would be a stellar civilization. So the handicap is as in learning to get out of the cave mind, the primitive mind, into the cosmic mind and expand and get bigger and better at things. So here's the thing that I did this morning for simple training in what we call basic magic. I said to myself, I want to do this thing that I will call our future. And I thought about aspects in my brain. What would I talk about? What examples will I use? And I would set PowerPoints, little cues in my brain that I would have constantly running, as it is unscripted, to data stream what is relevant right now. And then I said, it's a Sunday, probably all the tourists are out, the parking lot's going to be packed away in the street. I don't want to walk in, I want a space in the parking lot. I do this every time I go out. So as I imagine, it's like it's around 10 o'clock, I'm going out with my car, and this is basic instructions before leaving Earth. This is this. I imagine a tourist or group coming back to their car, and a parking lot, a space will clear just when I arrive. And I have that in my mind as an image, and I develop a feeling as if that already had taken place. This is for endeavors in life. This is basics. And I'm driving into the parking lot, and I'm guided by spirit as an intuition, and there's 2 lanes. You can make a right and you can go straight, and I see everybody's in a straight lane in a line waiting for a parking lot to clear out. 3 cars in front of me. My intuition says make a left. Where no one looks, no one pays attention. Well, the magic to me, as in my observation continues, I'll make a left and I'll wait. And I drive slow. I don't see nothing yet. This is where magic and intuition comes in. And I stop. And I look at the parking lot and I see some changes where they moved rocks and somebody must have hit a rock with their car. And I wonder, why would you move that rock there if that is an extra space? Too bad. And then tourists come right where I stop in that angle, and they remove their car. Now, but not only that, there's 2 cars in front of me that seek a space freeing up that's actually in line. They could have skipped me or have taken that from me. And as if they're not paying attention, those who waited past that empty spot, 2 cars, look at me and smile and keep driving and keep going around looking for an empty spot. That I see, and then I make my turn and I drive into that spot. That's basic magic. That's basic observation and absorption of what is, and then bringing forth the action according to the template that you have created in your faith. And I have to put on the hoodie. It's getting really cold with my head here. So, what we have forgotten since the fall of Atlantis or the fall of the angels, the fall of consciousness, the falling in love, not the being in love. The falling in love was the fall of consciousness. You don't have to fall or go crazy when things are certain. They're meant to meet. They are for you. And this is designed for you. There's nothing to be afraid of. When I was younger, I was afraid of rejection. But what did I do? I asked, and I had to go through the process of, being rejected, where many people make a mistake in seeking their twin flame and seeking their partner, is that you fall in love with the idea of a being that you create in your mind. And then you see a template that visually fits that, but you don't know that person. That's when the calamity begins, because it's an illusion. So you with that person, and you realize that person is really that person and not that template that you actually were looking for. And you were not allowing it, you were calling forth. So many I see also that say, well, if there's too much trouble, I'd rather be single. It's too much trouble to go through. And maybe all of those 20s and those who seek partners or seek openness or whatever, is you can't control that. And if you have an attraction, ask. That doesn't mean you have to marry or live together. It's like, the kids in kindergarten have a polyamoric mind state, in innocence, mind you, not to be misunderstood. And one day, little Peter plays with Barbara, and then, and next weekend, Peter plays with Julia. And there's no jealousy or no competition because kids haven't learned that yet. So they change partners, as in playmates. Like I said, I'm talking non-sexual here right now. This is for the kids. And they are in joy. They are in bliss. They're also in a climax state as kids. So one weekend, Peter goes with a group of kids on camp, and he goes to, Yosemite Park. Comes back, it was nice, we had fun, and a couple of months later, summer camp, Peter goes with a totally other group. Don't you think that this group does not hate the other group for Peter making the choice to be with that group? And this is what we're going through. This is the problem that we're having. So I've seen also a pattern with people, as we deal with one another, saying, well, my boyfriend has to be this, or look at the dating sites, I'm looking for a long-term relationship, this. All of these program constructs prohibit you from living out Kundalini properly, which is not sexually based. People also got that so wrong. Kundalini is also not a pasta. And Tantra is also so misunderstood. I wanted to make like an extra video just about that section, because there's a whole other aspect of that, why we think friendship is based on sexual relations. It is not. The value that you have to have in one another before any other activity can take place should be the friendship. Then everything else can happen. That doesn't require you to marry or to conserve it or to put it in a box or want it how you want it. Then I've seen a pattern, and I just have to say this because as like Spirit wants me to share this, as in your purpose. When you sit there and you have a partner and you control it, it becomes boring for one side. One side begins to, not invest the energy into you anymore. Also, the intimacy leaves. What we all know to a great detail, the cheating game begins. You break up. And then you say, this is how I want it. And you can't find nobody because you're locked in this belief that you need to control that. Love lies in unattachment. You can't control it. When I met my partner, I tried to control it and say, you know what, I'm kind of tired of this emotional crap. You know, I don't want to develop myself, having to reflect all day and every day. I have to do me first here. This is all crap. But when my partner showed up, I couldn't really control that, nor did I want it to. You know, you have to accept the person as you meet the person without the template of manipulation and control that people attach with that. So some say, well, if that doesn't work, well, then I stay single because I can't have what I need. I also had that with friends in Berlin. They would call me and I didn't feel like going out. And then they would complain, yo, every time I call you, man, you're not trying to hang out. What's wrong with you? And I said, well, right now I'm not in the mood. Let me respond. And I wasn't given a chance to respond to say, you know what, now I'm ready. Let's do something together. So you get prosecuted. You say, oh, I thought we were a team. I thought all of this is like tight. You kind of be like this. You know, I'm telling you how I want it. And if I can't get what I want, then my truth is basically that I have to say something about it, that I have a problem with you because you're not jumping at my call. This is not how it works, people. For all of us, and if you want to go into Zen, try to not do. Don't look for friends. Don't criticize. Don't bitch. Like things. Find things that you're attracted to that you like. Find things that you love. Do things that you love. It took me almost my entire life to find out that I need to do the job that's my purpose and not the job to make money to get by. I know some people say I have obligations, I have kids. I know it is hard. It was super hard for me to transition from a three-dimensional construct, old paradigm, job parameter, to a fifth-dimensional cyberspace, not in the physical, not in the material, but now I have cyberspace assisting me into from the non-material world, creating material to deliver to you what my aspects are, my perspective and my inspection, projection, suggestion, and objection, if you know those words, meaning to clearly see what is being observed here, what is it that I'm learning. And for those that I speak to, I say, do you have your PayPal account? Do you have an Etsy store? Do you have a talent? And anybody has a talent. I don't care. People tell me I have no talent. That's, you're lying to yourself. Everybody has a talent. Put your craft, and if it's putting beads together, making bracelets, or making wands, or finding ideas like I do, there is a way. And I started with $60, and I built, and I sold 2 keys, and I sold 3 keys. And mittlerweile, in between, I'm over 2,000 items sold in, I think, 4 years. You make progress. You have revenue. There's things that take place. So society has faced this. We were sold rotten apples. This is actually the conclusion to where I'm actually wanting to go with this. It's a lot of topics, but actually everything is connected. Don't forget. The conclusion, so I may not lose my train of thought here, is we've been sold rotten apples at the market. Like democracy, whatever. It's the best we have, you know, it's better than no apples. So we accept that, accept the terms, which is called adhesive, in silence, and we buy the rotten apples. We play their game. Until one dude decides not to walk like this, not to be pre-human. Wow. And he decides to make sounds. I'm just going like a little bit crazy here. And starts to walk upright. And all the other species that walk this walk and they grunted, they have their little system and they rotten apples. They look at that dude and they're going like, yo, that dude's crazy. He walks upright. That looks awkward. It makes no sense. When that dude is actually, could be a chick, could be a guy, becoming sane. You know? He's getting clear in his mind. he's having realizations. So now that dude has developed a language, idealism, and decides to not buy the rotten apples anymore. And they're looking at this guy saying like, what did that dude is crazy? Yo, at least we had rotten apples over there. You know, everybody is buying that. Why is he not subscribing to that? Then you have the resisting dudes going, that can't be right, you know, you're supposed to be buying that, because you know why? Everybody buys that. And that dude has a mind of his own, and he doesn't subscribe to the crap anymore. And he begins exploring out in the field. He finds these seeds, clear and clean seeds, somewhere way out in the mountains, in a grotto that nobody has explored, nobody has ventured to, like a place of consciousness where others haven't gone. And he comes back with these seeds and says, let me try. And he creates these apples, but these are these paradise apples, you know, like Adam and Eve, you know the deal. Tantalizing, tempting. Anyway, they're clear, they're not rotten, they're not parasitic. They have nothing attached to them. And he wants to go to the market with them. Of course, the market's like, you know, they boycott him. You know, you can't sell this here. They see competition. They don't allow this guy to bring the clean and clear apples. Free energy, same principle. So, you know, he decides, okay, well, I create this place over here. That's my place, my rules. He plays a little bit with the draconian old ancient paradigm to get all the papers and everything correct. So it's like, okay, this is my property here. This is, when you visit this here, my rules apply. And then one or two monkeys decide, you know, let's go by that garden over there. I think it's the Eden Inn. I'm just playing with metaphors to help you remember who you are. So this is not randomness, what I'm doing here. This is well thought of and investigated. And the two monkeys venture into that place they call the Eden Inn, because they want to know, what does he do? Why this guy smiles? He looks healthy. All the others still walk like that. They got bellies. You know, they're not that fast. This dude is fast. He's not really hanging out over there. He must be alone. I don't know, but I'm intrigued. This is what you should follow. So they waltz over there, go to the place they call the Eden Inn. And they come into the garden. He says, respect the rules, respect the temple, respect everything that is here, and I may share with you. So these two beings are very humble, you know, very shy. They're learning to walk upright, getting their mind right, being able to look into the sun, not doing this, you know. And even though ironically I'm wearing shades, but I'm doing this because I don't want to do this with you. So to continue the story, they eat the apples and they really enjoy the taste. It's almost like psychedelic. Endorphins are being produced. Sitting in the sun, melatonin is being produced. Tryptophan is being produced. Tryptamine. Dimethyltryptamine is being produced. They're really enjoying that moment, sitting under that tree, in these chairs. And it's just peace around them. And they say, can we stay tonight this feels really good. Like as if, you know, like a vacation to Hawaii. Those who've been to Hawaii, you'll understand, or Kauai or Oahu. That feeling, that Lemurian paradise feeling. And they have the craziest lucid dreams in color, and they have ideas and epiphanies and things they want to do and how they want to change. So, with all humbleness, they say, can we come back? Can we visit you again? And the guy that runs that garden says, of course, as long as you respect that, you may share with others. And it begins to spread. And then 5 more other monkeys, soon to be ex-monkeys, monkey, key to man. Interesting metaphors here. And they learn to walk upright and realize, okay, I have less lower back pain. This actually feels really, really good. I really enjoy this here. And they eat the apples. And then to break it down, our little paradise story. The monkeys have basically evolved into human. Hue manifests. A hue as in a spectrum of light manifests in matter. And it becomes 100. And then 101 decides, I want to build the system that this guy has. And he goes and sets it up. And Earth is being basically reactivated into its original state of consciousness. I always say, like, if you go to Lemuria, imagine if you would eat a strawberry in Lemuria, it'll be like LSD. You trip. Why? The fruit sugar, the nutrients are going to be so high and so energetically and so alkaline that eating food that is conscious, it turns your system on. Like, imagine, they say that the potassium value of a banana, if you really, really digest this, that really take this in, is that low from the process that you have to eat 12 bananas a day to have your average potassium level. That shows you how degraded our food is. And we're vegan, or some are not. Don't think you're eating unprocessed foods. It goes through fertilizer. It's not organic. When you stop using artificially enhanced substrates to bring forth crops, and the crops is not owned by any corporation that designs and modifies that, then you get clear. And when we understand that, and we get into farming and setting that up, and bringing stuff to markets that are close by without having to import, I don't know, fruits from China, or Japan, with stuff that you can grow in your country. And this continent is big enough. And we stop with the franchise in a weird way and make essential marketing, conscious marketing, fair trade, bringing, like Matt Damon, water to people in other countries that don't have pipelines, because nobody invests into water pipelines. And we start learning that we can correct that right now. We're doing a great job. And like that movie right now, that's #1 in the world. I won't name titles. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Inspired kids, schools and whatnot to get into projects that create bigger events, creating bigger environments, creating meaningful things. Also equality of the women and the males as in equals, as powerful beings represented in a utopian society. While all of the shit that we see on TV right now is this dystopian society, everything is crap and corruption. These are probable timelines that were predicted if we continue the course of what is to be deemed non-essential. So our future means being kind to one another, to work. I'm heating up here, so I have to do this back and forth. Working together, creating projects and work modalities, investing in things that are transparent to us, that create. So I refrain from investing in a currency. I'm more into, if somebody has a little generator and puts the thing on the table and it runs, and I'll test it for a year or maybe 2 years, well, I'm willing to put my dime down to say, can we build more of those things? You know, there's a guy that I spoke to who built a device that takes the electricity that goes into your home, cuts the 30 hertz out, and produces the Schumann resonance in the current going into your house, meaning that you have earth frequency coming directly in your house. Also in the future, homes shall be built with hempcrete and a magnesium oxide mix that helps the earth to resonate Schumann resonance back into the floor of your home, so you're not isolated as an insulation from the earth, and you collect less particles that are non-essential that create free radicals, as in the blue beam from the electricity that you're looking at. And you know, in the future generations won't need glasses or be short-sighted, because that will not have that effect anymore on those people. You have to wonder why people that live in the mountains or on the beaches of Hawaii, born and raised, they're super healthy and they're 90 years old, they don't need glasses. They're at the beach every morning because the electrons and the particles can reset every day. We need to create modalities that helps the body to reset, to come back to its natural avatar structure. And if you understand that, billionaires will line up to invest in me to help them. How can I build an ascension chamber? Which I'll do by myself, even without a campaign, just saving my money step by step, setting it up to get the magnetic correlation of the earth corrected, get 24 gold-plated pieces together to reflect the gold ionic frequency back to the body, and have it shielded from the current corrupted consciousness projecting into the realms. This is what we're receiving, this is what we're under. And then you'll see big stores closing down, which we're already witnessing. And also what we see with the school systems. I say to the teachers that fear for their jobs, that losing jobs left and right now, and they have cutbacks. This is collapsing because people like Elon Musk have created a school system, and that fractal that this billionaire has created is like this small, and in the future it's probably this big. Here's what I want to tell you. From Montessori to Waldorf, whatever the ideology is, a school system that is with the tribe, with the nation, or with the village. No more open schools. Safety for our kids, period. Not even giving a platform or a petri dish for something viral that can attack. The kids are not being graded. It's about participation. General learning of, reading, writing, and math, the basics. No absolutes are being formed. No Yale, Harvard. All of these big degrees that were protocol are required in the future. And Elon Musk said he already has 20 to 30 kids in him. What the focus will be is where's your talent, where's your craft. Focusing on that, where your passion is, and that what your passion is will be your job. We will be in evolution much quicker. So I understand certain billionaires that would do, once I have the capacity, I would do that too. I find it formidable. And it's not always in the more you learn, the more you earn. It's semi. It's not in all the books you read. It's like, how do you make sense out of a book? How do you assemble what's essentially good for you? You can do Bruce Lee's workout and never be as strong as Bruce Lee because it's not for you. Find out what's your workout. How do you lift your weights? What is your diet? I can give you a universal diet that might not be your diet, but I can give you something essential where everybody can benefit from. So here's the idea that if you... Here's the example, and I want to round this up. They showed a guy on YouTube that built a robotic arm out of spare parts from the trash, dude in Africa. And poor dude, and had time on his hands, so he went into what he likes. He likes machinery, computers, and robots and whatnot. So he went to the junkyard without prior education. Here is where the skill comes in. And he built a robotic arm out of spare parts, switchboards and relays, connecting them together, battery controlled from old car batteries that still have some juice left. And he created a system that can grab objects and drop these objects off. This guy was hired by a computer company as an engineer without education, and he's in the head department showing them the practicality from the self-taught, naive point of view, how to build robotic arms that will work more efficient, and he gets hired because of that, not because of a degree. And in the future we have to be looking at what is the talent and what is it that you can do. If you're a sculptor and you never went to a sculpting school or modeling class, and you can make, I don't know, from Michelangelo portraits to Shaka Zulu statues, cover all ranges and all races, and you beat everybody that has ever studied, then I'm looking at your talent and your craft and what you can produce right now. Those that sit on the sidelines and complain about how everything is wrong in the world, I won't hire you. And you won't be in business because we're not being productive. So what the message to the human race is over and over, whether I channel Arcturian Council, the collective of Ra, or what I am for myself, to the highest purpose of my existence in the core of my body, the message is this: find your purpose, find your passion, believe in your craft, keep pushing. Do not subscribe to things that are not productive, that are not helping you, that are not constructive, that don't create anything. If I build a house and I have, 20 people in line that help me, I'll ask one thing: can you pass the brick? I'm not asking about the opinion. How do you feel? Your sorrows, what's going to be tomorrow, eventualities, ifs, buts, maybes, woulda, coulda, shoulda, all living on an island that actually never existed because it never was. We want to be in reality of, you know what, I built this this machine here with these spare parts, and we can print these magnesium oxide hempcrete bricks and build houses. Well, I'll buy that machine. And if I can build a wall with that, I'll build that wall. If I can build a dome with that, I'll build that dome. Everything else, how did they say? Money talks, BS walks. And BS in this case is belief system that doesn't bring forth anything, that doesn't create anything. We, and I have to say this with emphasis, that's why sometimes I'm getting loud, because I'm passionate, work together for a greater good for all. And we can't give up doing that. And as Morpheus said, Zion, let them remember, we are still here. And this is your choice. To get up in the morning, do a good deed, do what makes you happy. Do not do what aggravates you. What aggravates you, do not subscribe to. You know, why would I order, a detergent that has a smell that I can't stand? But I do it because it cleans my laundry, but my house smells like I don't want that smell. Well, then get lavender, sandalwood, or something else, or put your own essential oils in there. The change that has to be made is up to you and your choice, wanting to create that Eden. And that craft world nexus is Earth, that has everything here that you'll ever need to go interstellar in the future. There is no exotic element that you need to rob or that you need from outer space. This is always the psychological aspect, that you need this external in order to inspire the internal. Internal filters out, inward inspires inward. So sometimes we got to turn the TV off, social media off, and go inward and sit it out and wait. It will come to you over time. I've seen this too, in a relationship that's toxic and it goes nowhere, make a choice. Don't wait. Some people came to me and say, what choice should I make? And I say, don't make me tell you what you have to do, that you can find an excuse if it goes wrong. Well, Ra told me. I'm not telling you anything. What I do is I'm the mirror reflecting that aspect of consciousness to you, saying, how do you feel? Well, now give me a choice that will make you feel better, that you can create by faith in your mind. And all religions have that. All prayers have that. Respect to all religions and all prayers in divinity, in the divine, as in equilibrium, understanding nothing is above you, nothing is below you. We're all in this together. And at the end of the day, we have to answer for all the things we have done, our deeds and our crimes. Armageddon is within. Armageddon is every day. And we must face anything that is not of a divine nature that damages us will be seen, whether it's on television or radio or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. So here is my plea. Imagine CNN stops reporting about scandals, reports about the good news in sports, and there, let's say, some kids by the river let's say about the Holy River Jordan, and they start levitating rocks. And the first CNN reporter flies out there to report and interview these kids that levitate rocks. Let's call it potential. And other reporters in the channel look at the guy, and we begin reporting miracles. We begin to pay attention to that. This is what's happening here, and this is the good news. Scandal magazines, one line on the counter is, the Kardashians, the Hiltons, the Kanye West, Jay-Z, what's in the Will Smith, whatever is in the bougie boulevard press with bad news. It's in this line. On the left line, you have yoga, the new me, dissolving the ego, what spirituality, meditation training courses. What magazine would you subscribe to? And we are subscribing to the left aisle. Good news comes on TV. People, I've seen it also on YouTube now, doing regressive hypnotherapy, and all of a sudden that has 100,000 views. We're getting there. We're making the better choice. I seen a video where the actor Chad Boswick explained something, and I have to bring it in here because these little stories people don't pay attention to, about the movie, that he talked to 2 kids that were terminal with cancer. And he said that they were so excited. These 2 kids, rest in peace, have passed. And how he got so emotional in the interview on stage, saying how these kids held on with everything they had to stay alive in a body that was dying so they can see the movie that has been released. Because they were so excited about a new future and seeing new things that gave them excitement and gave them a reason to live. And that's past any race. Anything that is said to that or about that is blasphemous to me. It's about life, wanting to live, being here. To die is easy. To make a mistake and croak very quick is easy. To stay here in the currency, to see what's current. The current. Corinth. Everything is there. Is the power of you. And the video with Chad had, I think, 640,000 views. That's what I want to see. Not somebody getting beat up or sitting on the toilet singing a song or talking about why males are stupid having 90 million views, or non-essential poetry being sold as commercially something that's hip and kids think, meaningless stuff and disrespecting women is the future, is no longer being subscribed to. We all make the better choice. And we look at the conscious rapper, we look at the conscious poet, we're looking at conscious creative poetry, and we listen to our kinds, and we listen to the new paranormal that will become the new normal. And the ratings drop for bad news, and the ratings increase for good news. And you can be your own paranormal witness in this, increasing and investigating into new and positive endeavors and outcomes that will bring forth nothing but goodness on this planet and healing in the most profound way. On that note, let them remember, light workers, whatever you want to call yourself, everything shall be allowed in its divine creation that you are, from the seraphim to the cherubim, Analfin, Yailin, all of the angelic groups that are there that hear me. We're doing this, and you're doing great, and I'm proud of you. But note this, mastery becomes its own through discipline. You have to put in the work to show your craft. And that will be evident. As the Kung Fu Master says, the discipline intimidates. If you know your stuff and you don't walk astray from your path with God, with the source, with Gaia, with nature, you may know that commandments will become suggestions. You shall not you will, no command. It is you having the realization of what must be done, so it shall be. And the choice for more freedom, loving, peaceful, and mindful being will be not violence. It will be peace. And for that, how you wake up tomorrow with good deeds and good ideas, and the choice you make to do the good things, knowing that, I leave with you. So we can all come together on this platform, this plateau, in a new earth, which I call the flip side. Thank you.